All right, what's going on, good people? Larry Ridley here, CBS Sports, Madden NFL NBA 2K League, and we're happy to be here on BNC, Black News Channel, our new television home for this new show here. This is Esports Extra. We're talking esports, traditional sports mainly, and also video games, gaming, culture, entertainment, you name it. Got a cast of characters here. Got my great friends here, all of them from all different walks of life. We got an Olympian, we got fellow sportscasters, a former NBA scout, you name it, we're here. We're going to be here each and every Saturday and Sunday right here on television on BNC, 4 p.m. Eastern time on Saturdays and Sundays. Once again, 4 p.m. Eastern for this new show, Esports Extra. Today, we're talking about the NBA Finals. Got fresh faces in the NBA Finals. Phoenix Suns up 2-0. Game 3 Sunday night in Milwaukee. We'll talk about Ben Simmons. Lots of trade rumors out there swirling around. Where will they go? We'll get into that. Also, Sha'Carri Richardson not going to Tokyo. We've got our Olympian standing by. She'll definitely break that down. College athletes getting paid. Neil, get used to it. Name, image, likeness. We'll break that down for you as well. Rachel Nichols, Maria Taylor. I know Maria Taylor. We're in NABJ together, National Association of Black Journalists. Interesting little salvos being thrown out there by Rachel Nichols, talking about Maria Taylor. We'll get into that. ESPN, what it all means. Two women being pitted against each other. We'll get into that as well. And then the UPA, United or Unified Pro-Am Association 2K World Championship this past weekend in the Dallas area. We'll break that down with a little esports segment. Let's go ahead and bring in the co-host for today. We got Kelly Wells Brinkley. Kelly, the Olympian 2012 London Games. How you doing?
I am so excited to be back here with my guys. This has been long overdue. So I'm just ready to get this party started.
Oh, the party started. Ready to get it started. I
See, here
got
you
no
go.
sense. Hey,
There
all
you go.
right.
Clutch it.
Classic. That's a good one. Very, very classic. Fellow sportscaster Duran Worrell. Kids call him Dagwood. Dagwood, how you doing? Where you at? You in Carnoustie? Is that near Brooklyn?
I'm in Brooklyn, Canarsie, Brooklyn, not Carnoustie.
Good stuff.
I'm
Not
ready to
too
go.
far from Allen Iverson's sister, right? What's that? Bed-Stuyvesant?
In Bedford Stuyvesant, yeah. What you
Oh,
said.
okay. Also, not too far down the road from you in Brooklyn as well. Brooklyn, what Brooklyn at? BK in the house. Ivan Curtis, kids call him OG King Kurt, head coach and general manager of the Brooklyn Nets gaming crew, NBA 2K League. OG, what it do, baby?
Hey, nothing, man. I'm glad to be back with the family. It's been a while. Definitely ready to talk sports, gaming, and culture.
Yeah, let's do it, man. And can't forget my guy. I did the NBA 2K event with him last week in Arlington at Esports Stadium, Arlington out there. He is former college basketball player. Antonio Williams, we like to call him A. Willie on the show. Also former Phoenix Sun scout, was in the Boston Red Sox organization. A. Willie, down there in the DFW. Talk to me.
Man, again, like everybody else, I am so happy to be here. Glad to be with the family. Also glad to be bringing the sports, the culture, everything to the people. So once again, it's on. We're about to drop some technology on this track. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Let's eat. You heard the man. First topic out the gate, guys, here on BNC. Fresh faces in the NBA Finals. Phoenix Suns up 2-0. They won game 2 on Thursday night. Now the scene shifting to Milwaukee, the Bronze Fonz. I like Big Buckton, I cannot lie. Brew City, Cream City, whatever you want to say about Milwaukee. Devin Booker, CP3, DeAndre Ayton, looking good. Fresh faces. Giannis, Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. Fresh faces. No LeBron, no Steph for the first time since 2010. No KD, no Kawhi. Does America like this? We'll start with you, Kelly Wells Brinkley. Ladies first. All the ladies in the house say, yeah. What you think?
Does America really like anything? Everybody's gonna find a problem with
They
everything.
like food because we're fat.
Also valid.
Facts.
But I think America just needs to see good sports. After the year and a half that we've spent in the house, clamped up, cramped up, Netflixing and chilling, we just need to see good sports. We need to see competitive games. We need to see, two up here, then somebody comes back here. The excitement is what gets me. Of course, I have favorites that play in the league, but I want to see competitive sports. I don't want to see a 30-point win, So I'm excited about this. I know that everyone else is too. ratings show it, people are tuning in. So America doesn't really like anything until they like it. That's just how it goes.
Derwin Worrell, no LeBron, no Steph, no Kawhi, no stars here, traditional stars that we've seen in the past. Are you okay with this? I like Derwin. I like to see juggernauts. I like to see dominant teams, and then maybe throw in maybe an underdog or something like that, right? Am I crazy here, Derwin?
You're crazy as usual. But I mean, America just want to see good games, good basketball. I mean, this playoffs and definitely this finals, so far, I think we've seen it doesn't need LeBron to be, to be competitive, for people to tune in. People just want to see good games. There's good storylines here with Chris Paul, all the years that he's played in this league. And now he's finally getting an opportunity to play for a title. And he's only 2 games away. That's a great story. The young Devin Booker that's there. He's a budding star. On the other side with Milwaukee, you got the Greek Freak, tremendous ball player. And so far, the games have been pretty good. Phoenix has pulled it out in the end, but it hasn't been any blowouts, and people are being entertained.
That OG, do you like this? Fresh faces, it sounds good, but from a ratings perspective, do Americans like this, or do they want to see the stars?
Well, first off, I love my sports, but Kelly, there's nothing wrong with a nice Netflix and chill. But you know, I think like Kelly said, I mean, America. I mean, it comes to the point where you want to see the superstars has been carrying, but then you also want to see some new talent. And
Mm-hmm.
now the storyline is, Giannis doesn't have a championship, and neither does Chris Paul. So, you get a chance to see some future Hall of Famers get a shot at getting a chance to get a championship. And I mean, of course, I would have liked to see my Brooklyn Nets in the finals,
Sure.
uh, I think I think it's good for the game. I mean, in parity, and then also the young players, like I mean, the Michael Bridges. I mean, the superstar role players now that's really getting a chance to show up. We're watching Aiton grow up right before our eyes.
Mhm.
I think it's been great. I mean, I think obviously people would have loved to see something different, but I've been a fan of it. I mean, it's been two fairly good games. It's still been entertaining, and I think the best is yet to come for this series.
Hey, Willie, I want you to pound on your chest and tell America what you saw in Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton when you were a Phoenix Sun scout. This is your time. Hey, Willie, I want you to get in there real close in that camera and tell everybody we saw this coming.
We did. I'll say this. One of the things that people underrate when we look at players, when we talk about upside, we always talk about physical things. Can they get stronger? We always talk about athleticism. But I'll tell you, tough guys and smart guys get better. And we undervalue that from an upside standpoint because people that actually love the game and are smart, they put in the work. They do all the things that they need to do to get better. They study. They're students of the game. You don't have to drag them into the gym. They do it on their own. So these guys did that. And again, we draft these guys when they're so young. So they have to learn how to be pros. And these guys learn how to be pros on the job and they're enjoying all the success. So, yes, we know the fact that these guys, again, they had some athleticism, they had some tools from a physical standpoint, but there was a mental aspect as well that goes into it. You got to inherently love the game. If you inherently love the game, you're inherently smart, that sets you up for
But
upside.
did you really believe in your heart that 4, 5, 6 years later, they'd be on the world stage 2 games away from bringing home the Larry O'Brien trophy?
I can say this from winning the championship in Boston. You all aspire to win one, but it's hard to really say, yes, we are going to win one because there are so many other things that have to go in your favors. And unfortunately, this year, we've seen some of those things either go in its team's favors or not go in their favors. We're talking about injuries, attrition, right? So we say all this stuff about when we're looking at attrition and injuries. We talk about how the season needs to be truncated some. Well, you got to look at basketball holistically. You start looking at it from a youth standpoint as well. This is the era where these guys play basketball year round. So with that being said, it is hard to say you're going to win one because you got to pray for health, right? So there's so many other things that go into the equation when you're trying to win. But yes, when we drafted them, we were hoping for it, and here they are. So I'm happy for them.
Real quickly, let's go around the horn per se. We'll start with you, Kelly. Will the Suns close this thing out? Will they win in a sweep and close it out in Milwaukee, or is this thing going back to Phoenix? And who's going to win the series? I'm assuming you guys are going to say Suns.
Suns all day, and I'm gonna say in 6.
Okay.
You know the
D-Dubs?
NBA got to sell those tickets.
That's true. D-Dubs, Dagwood, who you got?
Chris Paul is going to heist his first NBA title. Suns are going to get it in 5.
OG, talk to me.
Suns in 5.
Hey, Willie, I know where you're going. Suns and how many?
Initially, when it first started, I said 6. I'm going to stick with that.
I'm with you. This thing is going at least 6. Milwaukee will show some fight. Deer Park is going to be litty Sunday night at 8 p.m. East. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. Keep it in the NBA, the association, National Basketball Association. We're talking about that guy, Ben Simmons. Had a breakdown there towards the end of the Atlanta Hawks series. Didn't really want to shoot. Will he be traded? Are the Sixers actually thinking about trading him, or will they keep him? We'll talk about that with more here on Esports Xtra, right here on BNC. Don't move. And we're back here on BNC for more Esports Xtra, our debut show here on a weekend here. As we like to say, working on the weekend like usual. We compete for every esports. Now we're here for Esports Xtra. 2 shows every weekend here on BNC. Larry here, CBS Sports, Mad NFL NBA 2K League. Got Kelly Wells Brinkley, Derwin Worrell, Antonio Williams, and also OG King Kurt. Guys, we're talking Ben Simmons will keep it in the NBA. A lot of talk, trade rumors about Ben. What will he do? We know he turned down that dunk against the Atlanta Hawks late in that Game 7. They lost that series to those young Atlanta Hawks in ice trade. Trae Young didn't really want to shoot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 shots in the fourth quarter of the entire series. None the last 5 or 6 games. That's not going to work. That dog will not hunt. You hear teams like the Blazers, the Racers, the Pacers, the Warriors, the Celtics, the Wolves, the Bulls. We saw earlier last week, the Pacers offered Malcolm Brogdon and just the first round for freaking Ben Simmons, Rookie of the Year, 3-time All-Star, player, all-pro defensive guy. That's all you can fetch for Ben Simmons? What are you guys' thoughts here on Ben Simmons? Will he stay or will he go? We'll start with you, Kels.
I think he's staying. But then you also have to look at, like, when there's smoke, there's sometimes fire. But I think he's staying, and that trade is ridiculous. They slap yourself. Not a good one.
Once again, a proposed trade from our good friend Jason Dumas out there at KRON TV in San Francisco. We had him on the show last year. So good brother doing some good work out there. Got Philly ties, by the way. But yeah, that was the proposed deal, at least reportedly. Malcolm Brogdon, young guy, still in his 20s, mid-20s, and just a first-round pick for Ben Simmons. Derwin Worrell, you're a big basketball guy here. What are your thoughts on Ben Simmons? Do you like him going to Portland? Maybe for, not for necessarily, Dame or anybody, but for, somebody else with Portland.
You know what? I could do Portland. I like Portland because one thing Portland doesn't do, they don't play any defense. And they can't stop the ball. That's one of their biggest problems. They can score, but when they're not scoring, you got to be able sometimes to stop the ball. I don't know what Philly's going to do with Simmons because, honestly, born and raised here in New York, I can tell you one thing about Philly, which is right down the road. That is not the place to be trying to work this stuff out. That fan base is not merciful. I don't see how they could bring that guy back. If Doc Rivers really want to tie his wagon to this guy who doesn't want to shoot, he's a liability on the court because he's not going to help you score. So, I mean, I think I've seen enough of him. I think they have to move him. I'm not sure if they're going to get quality value for him at this point.
Yeah, I got to wonder, Doc Rivers, after that tough loss Game 7 there, where, once again, they blew a 3-2 series lead, basically question. I don't know what Ben is going to do, and will he be the type of leader that they need? You look at Daryl Morey, the GM there, came from Houston. Man, you got to think. Maybe you throw in Tyrese Maxey, who I love, great guy. I love the University of Kentucky hoops. My mom with the University of Kentucky. Got her PhD there, so I'll always have some admiration for them. Boy, looking back on it, you maybe get James Harden, and maybe that's NBA Finals team. Hey, Willie, your thoughts here. Ben Simmons, I like him in Golden State. Doesn't need to shoot. Matter of fact, he'll get in trouble if he shoots when you got Clay and Steph.
Yeah, that's a good situation. And, the basketball, what you just said is something that people don't take into account enough when they're looking at players in the NBA. Situations for the vast majority of players are everything, meaning who's the teammates, what's the system, who's the coach. That's probably just as important as your talent. It's the reason why only 4,200 people in the world have ever played in the NBA. It's not just a talent thing.
One more time, how many people in the world?
Little over 4,200 people in the history of the world have played in the NBA. And the vast majority of them, it's about situation. Case in point, there's a reason why the guy that's led the league, that's led NCAA in scoring, hardly ever plays in the NBA because that guy can only get off with every single play ran for him. Well, when you get to the NBA, that's not going to be the case. So when you look at Ben Simmons, for me, the bigger thing with them is when you look at Ben Simmons and you look at Joel Embiid, two franchise players, somewhere they're not connecting mentally. That's the issue that's going on there. In addition to all the things that people need to improve upon, the fact that there's something going on with them, they got to get that figured out. And if I'm Philly, we're sitting in the room and we're getting that figured out. Because the other thing is, people, if this were 25 years ago, we'd be letting this team grow. But because we have the internet, we live in a microwave society. Whenever teams fail, you got to break them up. You got to break them up. You got to break them up. Imagine if we did this in Chicago with Scotty and Michael.
Yeah, late 80s. But we did trust the process through all those years and all the losing. So I think the Philly fans are a little impatient here. OG, real quickly, Ben Simmons, does he stay or does he go? And if he goes, what's a good landing spot?
I think it's a tough situation. I mean, because you have they're both young stars, so to speak. And the thing about Ben Simmons is that the weight of that contract is heavy. And I mean, it's going to be, it's going to
he
be.
got $147 million left. Had
it's
that $177 million deal a couple of years ago, AG. Ben Simmons
hey,
got that long money.
Hey, it's gonna take a lot of bodies to fulfill that contract. So I mean, does Golden State seem like an ideal situation? Yes, I mean, but a lot of teams can seem like an ideal situation. It's just a matter of how many, what's the offload for him. I mean, but I'd like to see it work. To be honest, I like to see both of them stick it out. The young talent, they probably, who knows what's going on behind the scenes, but I think it's something that they really can build off of. The close it off for me is just for Ben Simmons to come back and be more of a not being a reluctant shooter. I mean, I don't care how good you can shoot or not, but to not shoot, that's always been my issue with him. But other than that, I'd love to see them stick it out together and make that work in Philly.
You're right. As we're here on the weekend here on BNC, for all my folks down south, I was born down south in Nashville, Tennessee. If you're scared, go to church. That's what we used to say down there. So Ben Simmons, look, we saw the videos last summer. You saw him hitting all those 3-pointers in the pickup games and things of that nature. I like him in Chicago. Zach LaVine, maybe that's a good situation for him. But definitely Golden State. You can send back. I don't know, maybe Wiggins or somebody of that nature. Portland, you got CJ McCollum. We'll see. Keep our eyes on Ben Simmons. I tend to believe that he's going to stay in Philly. They've got sort of a great talent that they just can't let walk through the door. Guys, let's go ahead and take a break. We're coming back with more Esports Extra right here on BNC. We're coming back. We're going to hit the track. One of the fastest women in the world, not going to Tokyo. No Tokyo drift for Sha'Carri Richardson. We've got our Olympian, Kelly Wells Brinkley, to break it all down. What went on and what should have happened with the USA track and field. It's next right here on BNC. And we're back here on BNC for more of Esports Extra, the show that talks traditional sports, esports, gaming, culture, and entertainment. Guys, Sha'Carri Richardson not going to the Tokyo Olympics, of course, won the 100 meters for the United States track and field last month in June. Blazing fast, went to LSU, engaging, charismatic young lady, tested positive for marijuana. So she is out for 30 days. So she wasn't going to run in the 100 meters because the 100 meters starts, I believe, July the 23rd through the 26th, somewhere around there. But there was some hope that she might run in the 4x100 relay. That's not going to happen. The USA track and field left her off the team. Let's start with you, Kelly Wells Brinkley. Is this fair justice here? You got marijuana legal in about 19, 20 states, in other countries and things of that nature. What are your thoughts here? Is it really a performance enhancer? Kelly, you know all about track and field. Break it down for us.
Absolutely. So we'll start with no, it is not a performance enhancer. But to provide perspective on what happens, people are looking at this just like a country problem. If there are countries that you enter into, and if you have one speck of weed, you will go to jail for the rest of your life, or you can be executed for these things. So what we do is a global sport. So we cannot sit and look and be like, oh, well, in Oregon and 19 states, yeah, but there's a lot of countries that look at it like a gateway drug or that it is completely illegal. Now, to each his own. If you want a little puff puff, that's on you. Like, I'm not gonna judge you and your life, whatever. Do your thing responsibly, obviously.
Now, she was grieving with her biological mother, so let's
We're
put a little
getting there.
context there.
We're getting there.
Mhm.
Yes. And so I also feel for her in that nature. And I know that feeling. I was in high school, 16. My mom was tragically killed in a car accident. We found out Sunday morning. Tuesday and Wednesday, I ran one of the biggest track meets to that date. And then we buried her on a Thursday. So
Mm.
I completely understand that feeling of grieving. Now, we all know in our sport, we know the rules. We know that you cannot have three missed tests in a 12-month period. We know that we have to look at everything that we ingest, rub on us, spray on us, whatever. So my heart goes out to her 100% when I think about grieving the loss of a parent, a loved one, someone that is close to you. But what I do love is the accountability. She said, I know what I did. I know it was wrong, and this is just the deal. I, for one, wish that the world, America, would move on past it because making her relive this and spin in circles is also hindering her grieving process. She's grieving the loss of her mother, regardless of the relationship that they had. That is still someone that brought you into this world, that you were inside their body. So that connection is inseparable, no matter what. So what I do want people to understand is they're just rules, and we can go to bat after they're this and fight, but we're not fighting our country. Like, this isn't a country rule. Every athlete that does an Olympic sport is judged the same across the board. And so when people are talking about this as systemic racism, it's not, because this rule is the same for people where there are very few black people or there are few white people. So it's not that, it's just what the rule is. We can go back and try to go to bat and fight, but all street drugs, all recreational drugs are against the rules. There are so many things. If you guys looked at our book of things that are against the rules in comparison to the National Football League, NBA, and baseball, hmm, our book is this thick, and
All right.
everybody else's book is, this thick. So it's just that. But my heart does go out to her. She's a fellow, competitor. She's beautiful. She's
Hmm.
charismatic. She's great for the sport. Like,
Absolutely.
amazing. Some people, that's not her cup of tea. But man, I love her.
Right.
Talk your talk, mama.
Exactly.
Run it up. Get all of your money. Get what's deserved. But I mean, this go round, she's gonna have to sit out. She's super young, and
Yep.
luckily, we think the Olympics is gonna come back in another 3 years. So she'll be back.
Yep.
She's like a baby in the sport. So she'll be good money.
She said that in 2024. She's only 21, so she'll be
Yeah.
probably in the prime of her career at that point. 24, 25 years of age, a lot faster, a lot stronger, probably for her. Guys, I want all three of you guys to jump in here. Derwin, A. Willie, OG King Kurt, marijuana, the rules. What do you think about this? Should they have maybe done something differently, or are you one of those black and white guys? Rules are rules. You break them, you pay the price. We all have kids, and I'm sure we
Right.
all teach our kids that.
Rules are rules. She deserved to be suspended. Period. You're not going to make an exception for her because she is the quote unquote fastest young lady in America. And as Kelly said so eloquently, this is not American rule. This is a World Council body rule. So I mean, they had to suspend her and to keep her off the relay team as well. I thought that was a good move as well because you have other teammates on that squad that did the right thing, that
Yep.
practice and was there all the time, and they didn't make the mistake. They were able to bump themselves up because she was eliminated. How do you take away a spot from one of them to run in that relay?
Yep. And one of the young ladies that finished, I believe, third or fourth is actually going to be on the relay team. Hey, Willie, real quickly, jump in here. OG, both of you guys, jump in here. We got like 30 seconds, real quickly. Jump in, both of you.
Yeah, my thoughts about it. I mean, of course, I mean she's made this event the event she's been running in electric. I mean, and people are looking forward to that.
Oh, it's the
But
showcase event, 100 meters. That's the event at Summer Olympics. Absolutely.
yes, and my thing about it is that once she held herself accountable, I really had no other ill feeling about it. I mean, she went about it the right way, and we'll look forward to seeing her get back on the track and do what she does.
Hey, Willie, real quickly, put a bow on this for us.
I'll say this for me, being a sports marketing guy and loving that aspect of it. In this country, we love redemption stories. So this is setting up for an amazing redemption story for her, an amazing redemption story that she can actually, as Kelly say, run that thing up, right? So she can profit off of that. So I'm really looking forward to the redemption story. And it started when she said, everybody's gonna get it at the Worlds. So I'm looking forward to it.
that was it right there.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to add to that. She did a great job with the interview on the Today Show as well. We're rooting for her. Look, this was very unfortunate, but man, my heart really aches for it. Like marijuana, when it's readily available to a lot of people, we can get into it. How we're policed differently than our white counterparts. On a pretty much a flat scale there. It's a very difficult, tough subject to talk about. But we're rooting for Sha'Carri Richardson as she makes her comeback, hopefully in the 2024 Olympics, which will be here. What, right in LA, right?
LA.
Where we going, Kelly?
LA.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Willie, California love, man. It's your hometown,
Hey,
baby.
always. Let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West.
Oh, boy. All right, cut his mic. That's enough. We're not going to do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back with more Esports Extra on the other side. We were all college athletes. I was one, played football at Middle Tennessee State University. Oh, these kids are getting broken off. Deals left and right. You got some money. You get some money. You get a deal. We're playing Oprah now in the NCAA. We'll talk about it. Name, image, and likeness right here on BNC. More Esports Extra after this quick timeout. And we're back here on BNC, Black News Channel, Esports Extra, the debut show. Let's talk college athletics. We were all college athletes at one point. Some of us bigger stars than others. Kelly at Hampton was a bigger star. Played football at Middle Tennessee, MTSU. Shout out to Blue Raiders. I am a Hall of Famer, though, at my school, though. OG went to school. A. Willie played college basketball. And, of course, Dagwood, Durham Worrell, went to Virginia State University, those fighting Trojans down there. In Virginia. Guys, do you like the name, image, and likeness? We saw some guys getting broke off. We saw Antoine Owens, I believe one of the first ones. Jackson State defensive end, got some money working with an African-American hair product line. We also saw Spencer Rattler, QB at OU. He's doing some things. Percy Miller, son of Master P, the ice cream man, Durham Worrell. Make them say, oh, na. Rap Snacks, one of our sponsors. Shout out to my good folks, James Lindsay and everybody down there with Rap Snacks. Also, you look at other people that were making De'Aaron King, I guess not two guys in the truck, but college hunks. I think he got $20,000 to do stuff. He's doing YouTube content, got 4 or 5 deals. Money flying all over the place. Softball players, women basketball players, all over the place. Guys, the NCAA, I guess they had no choice, huh? We'll start with you, Kels.
Run it up. Get every bag that you can get. I look at it like I remember going to college and I didn't come from an affluent family. So I went to college with no laptop. And I think about, what that did for me having to go back and forth to the library, stuff like that. So yes, people are thinking of these absorbent deals, but I also think down to the small player who somebody just gives them something that it was an NCAA violation. But you look at these coaches, they're making millions upon millions upon our backs, upon these athletes' backs. So yes, pay them what they deserve. I hope all these companies throw it around because people watch NCAA sports more than they watch professional sports. So pay every single one of them, pay them. I do worry about recruiting with the, mid-level, mid-major schools. I come from a mid-major HBCU. Shout out to Hampton. But, we gotta let it happen and let the chips fall where they may.
And that's what I'm going to get into. Percy Miller, basketball player at Tennessee State. I heard he signed a deal with like some American technology company. I'm hearing like $1 to $2 million. I'm like, what? I'm like, hey, Master P, Migos, we're all on the same team. I'm an influencer for Rap Snacks. Hook your boy Larry Ridley up.
I need reparations. Retroactive money.
Derwin, are you worried about the playing field being level here? 30 seconds or less.
No, I just really feel it's time for these guys to get paid, get some money. I mean, the NCAA is making billions off of these guys. I remember being in college and everybody's done it except for me because I can't stand them. Having to eat Roman noodles. I couldn't stand that. I couldn't stand that stuff. The one thing I would want to know at this point, if it had happened a couple of years ago, what kind of money would Tim Tebow would have been able to rake in? Because I was in Hagerstown when he was playing baseball. When he came through there, they set an attendance record when that dude came through there. He has a huge following and a huge fan base. I can't imagine what kind of money he would have made if this was going on during his time.
Oh, University of Florida, man. They say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Yeah.
OG and Antonio Williams, that is the question I posed to you two as we end this segment. What former college players would have made bank? Who would have really had the Brinks truck backing up? Tim Tebow, I don't know, Johnny Manziel, Deion Sanders. We had one of his players at Jackson State. You name some people out there. Reggie Bush, Vince Young. We talked about all these great athletes out there who really would have secured the bag.
I'd say Reggie Bush. I mean, he was. I mean, all of those big names would have made top dollar, but Reggie Bush. I mean, he was electrifying. He was unlike any other during his reign in college football. So I'd go with him. The one thing that I'd say is if I was anybody's buddy right now in college, I'd be switching my major. And I'd be managing a lot of these a lot of these players. That's what I would be doing. I mean, so it's a great time for college sports, and I'm happy they're getting paid.
Hey, Willie, your thoughts here? What former college athlete would have really raked in?
I'm going to say collective, the UNLV starting five.
Running ribs, huh?
Yeah.
What about the Fab Five at Michigan?
Them too, but yeah, the precursor to them is UNLV, right? And the precursor to them is Georgetown.
1990,
right? So,
and then Georgetown.
Right. Yeah.
Boy, paranoia, baby.
Yeah, so I would say UNLV, especially given the fact that the first, again, being a sports marketing guy, being a basketball guy, Nike, the first shoe with air, what we call the air bubble, the first basketball shoe was the Air Revolution. UNLV wore that shoe. And think about how UNLV had, Max Kellerman says this, UNLV had a white dude in New York wearing a starter jacket. So to me, it would have been UNLV and Larry Johnson and Stacey Augman. Greg Anthony had a t-shirt company that he had to stop operating because of the NCAA rules. Then I'll say this as well really quick.
Real quick.
I'm a word guy, right? So I don't believe in semantics. Say what you mean and mean what you say. So as we're talking, that's it. That's all. So as we're talking about these athletes getting money, let's keep it real. This is not revenue sharing. This is not the NCAA and the schools sharing the money that they generate from these players with the players.
Their own deals.
This is the players going out and putting the sweat equity in and getting your own deals. So this is not, even though they paint it up as that, this is not equity. This is not revenue sharing.
University of Miami had somebody off. They're going to give the football team $540,000. All 90 scholarship players are going to split it. They're all going to get $6,000 a year just to start the season. That's like 2 Pell Grant checks when I was in school. Trust me, I got those Pell Grant checks about $3,000. Put some speakers and stuff in the car. Hey. Johnny Manziel, guys. Johnny Manziel, oil money in Texas, Heisman Trophy candidate, oil money. He would have secured the bag. Am I crazy? 5 seconds? You agree?
No, but I say Vegas as well because you got gambling money. Look what we got going right now.
Yeah, that's right. Sheldon Adelson and those guys. That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff, guys. We'll come back, guys, with more Esports Extra. After a quick timeout, we're going to be talking about in the media today. Of course, 2 very high-profile women that cover the NBA, Rachel Nichols and also Maria Taylor. Leaked video. Who's to blame? ESPN kind of caught in the crossfires. The NBA commissioner talking about it as well. We'll have it for you more here. Esports Extra on BNC after this quick timeout. And we're back here on Esports Extra on a weekend here on BNC. Guys, we're going to go back to the NBA or the media, the traditional media, the sports media here. Big story this week here. 2 very high-profile women, both very good at their jobs. Rachel Nichols, NBA coverage at ESPN. Also, Maria Taylor, rising star at ESPN, the face of the NBA and everything that they do with the NBA at ESPN. Of course, we know about that leaked videotape, leaked tape from last year in the bubble, July of 2020, down in Orlando. Rachel Nichols complaining about Maria, basically saying in so many words, probably didn't deserve this job. How did she get this job? I was promised this job. Me. I should have gotten this. It's been a crazy week. A lot of people weighing in. The commissioner weighing in as well, talking about that. Adam Silver, he was talking about it as well. about ESPN. They should have done something in the last year to let this sort of fester. Women being pitted against each other. Let's start with our woman on this show, our queen, our track star, Kelly Wells Brinkley. Your thoughts here to see these women being pitted against each other? Rachel Nichols was wrong. Maria Taylor. Um, I did not like Kelly that an African American producer. Now she actually leaked the tape. I didn't like that she was the only one punished. So in this whole daggone story, one African American woman was the one punished here. Although Rachel Nichols has been sidelined during the NBA Finals. Malika Andrews, we just saw pictures, and we'll see pictures of her here in a second. She is covering the NBA Finals as a silent reporter. Your thoughts here, Kelly Wills Brinkley?
No, I'm just tired of women being pitted against each other. In most shows, there's one spot for one woman, and she is the moderator. Make room. I lost out on a job because one woman hated on me behind the scenes, and because there's one woman allowed in on TV. So we just got to make more room for women and to let us have some space. Like we know sports too. We know all the sports. So let us have a little bit of freedom. And then if you do see another woman come up, it's people on TV promise everybody the same thing. So you got to take a step back, chill, and just know your time is coming because that job just wasn't meant for you.
Derwin, we're African Americans in the TV business. You and I both have been doing this for a long time. I've been on TV 20 years now. Grateful to be at CBS Sports. They're so good to me. But we kind of look at rosters and we see, all right, how many black guys do they have? How many black people they have? So we kind of know what it's like for these women to go through these situations here, being pitted against each other. There's room for everybody, right, Derwin? Why can't that be the prevailing thought?
It should be, and shame on ESPN to get the way they just botched this whole thing. And
they had
now,
a year to figure this thing out. A year.
Yeah. And on one hand, I see Rachel Nichols probably feeling threatened because in her contract something was promised to her. She's being territorial, but she kind of threw Maria underneath the bus. And then, in the midst of all of this, I honestly think that Maria Taylor is going to benefit from this because if they somehow don't give her what she feels that she's owed, and she
her contract is up right now. It's up.
Someone's going to pay
right
her.
After the finals.
Somebody's going to pay her. She's going to get paid. So even though it's turmoil, it doesn't look good. In the end, I think she's going to be okay, and I think she's going to get all her flowers right now. As for Rachel Nichols, who knows what's going to happen to her career after this?
Hey Willie, are you okay with ESPN finally? I don't know if they buckled or caved to public sentiment out there, but Rachel Nichols was off the NBA Finals. Also, she did have some sort of apology on The Jump, which is her show, earlier this week. What did you make of her apology, non-apology? It really was an apology. Really, I'd really like to hear more from Rachel in a situation like this. Although I do understand she was kind of caught, with the camera on that really shouldn't have been on. But these were your words.
Yeah, of course, you would always like to see contrition and or more contrition in this case. But I think there are a couple of things I want to mention. Like, first off, with Malika Andrews, she's qualified. That's the first thing. So her being in this spot, she is qualified.
Did a hell of a job in the bubble last year.
No question. Same thing with Maria Taylor. When we look at backgrounds, we look at people, what gives you credibility to be on that stage? Well, she played basketball and volleyball at Georgia, and she also paid her dues in college football and other women's college basketball, men's college basketball as well. So I think some of the times when we start seeing these situations about who's getting this opportunity and who's not getting that opportunity, when it comes to us, and this is a societal thing, we know, generally speaking, when we get the opportunities, we are more than qualified to be there. So with that being said, people will say these things and other people will convey these sentiments about people that are more than qualified to be in those positions. So because we have to be more than qualified to be in these positions, and we know that going in. So with that being said, all of these women that we're talking about, more than qualified to be there. Nonetheless, we're still fighting it out. But I want to say Malika Andrews, Maria Taylor, more than qualified to be where they are.
OG, how do we make room for women, people of color, everybody, to have space here in their respective fields and careers?
I think, everybody pretty much hit it on the nose. Especially Kelly saying that when it's limited room at the table, it becomes an elbow.
You're going to fight over the food. Exactly.
Yeah. So, and it's unfortunate. Because every woman that we're talking about is very talented in their own right. And it's just unfortunate. I think for Rachel Nichols, she did something at work that a lot of people do. She just got caught, and that's the result of it. I think it could have been handled better, but I think nonetheless we've been graced with Maria Taylor and Malika Andrews, and we didn't lose in that factor. So hopefully Maria gets what she deserves after it's all said and done, and so will Malika, and hopefully Rachel has learned from this.
Yeah, I agree with what my colleague Mike Hill had to say. Does the show, the morning show here on BNC. He was right. There's always something at ESPN when it comes to African Americans and women there really not having the greatest experience, if you will, at the world wide leader. So we'll see what happens with Rachel Nichols, and we'll keep an eye on Maria Taylor and the contract. It's up. I know she's going to secure that bag. She's absolutely deserved it. And you're right. She's come through the ranks and she's a rising star and she's earned every single thing that's come her way so far. We're going to take a break, come back with one last segment here on Esports Extra. Talking esports. That's why we have the word esports in Esports Extra. NBA 2K over the weekend, myself and Antonio Williams, we were in Dallas for a Pro-Am event. $30,000 on the line. We'll talk about it this past weekend right here with more on BNC. You're watching Esports Extra after a quick timeout. We're watching Esports Extra right here, a debut show here on BNC. Got a few minutes before we get out of here, Larry Ridley here, CBS Sports. Wanted to talk a little esports here, hence the word Esports Extra. Did the UPA, that is the Unified Pro-Am Association, NBA 2K Pro-Am World Championships this past weekend. Myself and fellow co-host Antonio Williams were on the call this past weekend in Arlington, Texas at Esports Stadium. Arlington, you can see the pictures there. Beautiful facility right next to Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium, also next to Globe Life Field with the home of the Rangers there. $30,000. Hey, Willie and OG, want to get your thoughts. Esports is taking off, multi-billion-dollar industry. They just gave away $30,000 on a platform in a game that's not even the NBA 2K League. So a lot of great things happening in the world of esports. Your thoughts this past weekend, which you are one of the founders of, the My Player Basketball Association there, seeing that come to fruition there on the big stage this past weekend.
No, it was great to see, and it's something that I'm sure that the NBA 2K community, the NBA 2K Pro-Am community is going to be looking forward to. It's something between the WR Pro-Am League, the MPBA, the ABDA. It was an amazing event. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, but I got to watch it over live stream and everything like that. But it's definitely only going to get bigger and better from here. And it's also a great platform for aspiring pros to participate in and actually get their name out there. So it was a lot of eyes on it. Only going to get bigger and better as we go forward.
Can we call this the G League? A Williams, we got about 30 seconds. Is this
Yes,
like the
sir.
G League
Hey,
for the NBA 2K League?
Hey, it's great. And we got the founder of it on right over there with us. So it's even better.
Yes.
That's even better.
How much fun did you have out there, bro?
Man, it was amazing. It was amazing. It's amazing. From the energy that we saw from the crowd, what we saw in the chat, it was amazing, man.
Ooh. The players, man, they were going at each other.
Oh.
One guy had a rap. It was like a WWF or WWE little walk-off. You know how they do little skits and things? It was great, man. All right, good stuff, man. We had fun out there. $30,000. Liquid Pro-Am took home the overall championship. They beat GNA in the final there. So great to see those guys. $30,000, and it's going to continue to grow as well as esports in general will continue to grow. All right, guys, it's been a great show, guys. Thank you for watching, guys. For our panel here, Antonio Williams, OG King Kurt, Jordan Worrell, and our Olympian, Kelly Wells Brinkley. I'm Larry Ridley. Thanks for watching Esports Extra. We'll see you every Saturday and Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on BNC. Make it a good weekend, folks. We'll see you next week right here at BNC. Don't forget, compete for esports as well, 7 a.m., 11 a.m., right here on BNC.